I don't say it nearly enough, so I gotta remind you that if you want to watch these minutes along with us, just go over to the Instagram. The link is in the description. But if you want to search it up, it's I Love You 3000 Minutes, obviously. This is I Love You 3000 Minutes, the podcast. I'm Brian.
I'm Richard.
And this is the podcast that traveled back in time, endgame style, through the quantum realm with all them Pym particles to rewatch the entire Infinity Saga from Iron Man 1 to Spider-Man Far From Home, one glorious minute at a time. This is minute 23. And Richard, what happened? I'm just kidding. We haven't watched it. Allow us to watch it. We'll be right back. And with the magic of editing, we're back. Richard, what happened in that minute?
Well, goes pretty fast to Stark and Jensen back in the cave, discussing whether or not he's going to do it. He says...
Do what?
Well, it's pretty nuanced. He's saying, your weapons are in their hands. Are you going to let them just use them? Blah, blah, blah. And then Stark is a little bit more bleak at this moment. He says, not I'm going to die in a week anyway. Like, I'm not going to do...
There's nothing I can do. They're going to kill me. And
right.
If not, I'll be dead in a week anyway.
Mm-hmm. And then what does Jensen say after that?
Then this is a very important week.
Yeah.
And now we get... I literally love how magnificent this small little changes. I'll explain what it is for audio, but for video, it was just this, how he's looking down, slightly dejected, and after Jens says that, he just goes... Just a little up. Just the angle of his eyes changed, and with the help of the music, it was a super powerful moment. But that, for audio listeners, if you go to the Instagram and look at it, it's at the 52-second mark of the minute. Before we get into the cave again, we get a shot of Boss of a Boss looking on, stroking his ring, which is on the right ring finger, in a out-of-focus shot. And yeah, we cut to a fire in the cave. These hats, first, Tony Stark has like a beanie on in this cave. And what kind of hat is this that Jensen has?
It's like a golfer's hat.
A golfer's hat?
And that might be a turban on Stark's head.
Can't tell what
the back half is always dark, yeah.
But yeah, he gives him this magnificent speech, which I'm just going to play into our AirPods and say it as it goes, because we don't have the subtitles. I'm sure they're looking for you, Stark, but they will never find you in these mountains. Look. What you just saw. That is your legacy, Stark. Your life's work. In the hands of those murderers. Is that how you want to go out? Is this the last act of defiance of the great Tony Stark? Or are you going to do something about it? And then he says, can't do anything, they're going to kill me. And that whole thing, which you already covered. But I like that. I mean, considering Jensen's backstory, which we're going to get to in a few minutes, I like that he goes from, the not truly caring or seeming to, being a little rough around the edges, and then changes into the wind beneath Tony's wings, per se. I think it was important that Tony was clever enough to know that they weren't going to set him free.
Yeah.
Perhaps that gave Jensen a new perspective on him. Maybe when he was passed out, Jensen's like, this is just... I've met this guy. He's a drunk. He doesn't give a shit. We see later in Iron Man 3 that he's pretty just disrespectful to everybody. His pre-Iron Man ego. And now that he sees him sober, and his few things seeing it are, they have my guns, how did they get my guns? And I know they're going to kill me if I do this for them.
Mm-hmm.
So that was a nice way possibly for Jensen to see a different light of him.
Well, I mean, also when we first see Jensen, he's been living in a cave for a number of months. He's probably just over living in a cave. He's like done, he did the thing. He saved Stark's life. He has, medical experience and medical background, obviously very skilled in that field. So he saves Stark's life, and he's just like, "Hey, bro, you're awake in a cave. Good luck. What's up?"
Oh yeah. Oh, for sure. I mean, for sure. But like, I guarantee he was like, they told him, "You can save his life. If you don't save his life, we kill you."
Mm-hmm.
Because of course they value a guy who could possibly put together a Jericho missile for them much more than the guy who can give you stitches.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So at that point, he was forced to do it. At least that's my interpretation based on how, rough around the edges he was. His bedside manner was not nice or comfy. But, what changed to Jensen, for Jensen, to go from, I wouldn't do that if I were you. Oh, look, here the walk. I got some souvenirs. To, hey, you need to do something. Jensen has nothing to live for. We'll find that out in the later minutes when he explains to Tony. He has no future. He sees himself as dying soon. So what changed to make him become this motivational force? I think it's saying that Tony Stark had his knee-jerk priorities were, why do they have my guns? And I know I'm not stupid enough to fall for this trick and make a missile for you, thinking that it'll give me my freedom. A lot of people who are kidnapped or put in situations like this, they are panicking to the point that they believe these lies. So,
yeah. I think Jensen's always had that motivational force in him. It's just that when Tony first comes to, he's been waiting for Tony to wake up for 30 hours or something. Like, how long was Tony asleep? We don't know. And all that time, he's just chilling in a cave. And Tony wakes up and he's shaving because he has nothing better to do. He's like, he has nowhere to be, And
I mean, yeah, I know at his core this is Jensen.
Mm-hmm.
But I just see that rough around the edges treatment as him treating Tony accordingly. He met someone who is a drunk and not respecting his surroundings. If he needed to make a speech, very disrespectful to be just off your ass drunk even before doing it.
Mm-hmm.
So he's just like, this person might not be worth my time, truthfully. Yeah.
I mean, I don't think he meant any of that in disrespect when Tony was waking up. That's what I've been trying to say.
I got your point of view. I'm just explaining my differing point of view about it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And I've never looked so deeply into this difference in character of what I'm feeling, except in these minutes.
Mm-hmm.
Like, literally, if you put me down for a quiz and said, how did Jensen treat Tony in the first scene? How did you take that? I was like, oh, he was great. He's a great mentor the entire time.
In the first scene?
No, that would have been my answer before rewatching it like this.
Gotcha.
Is like, no, he was not short with him ever. He was the moral center. Mm-hmm. But in the nuance, he's a little shorter with him when he wakes up. Mm-hmm. For whatever reason.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Yeah, and then after all that, I just love, it's nice filmmaking where you get these moments where you think he's changed his mind, you don't get it verbally, and you get the answer, or let me say, the question of, is he changing his mind, is answered with an edit. We get just a straight cut to a lot of busy work, a lot of people. I was going to be so excited and be like, Jensen wipes his forehead of sweat. But no, he's got like a book in his hand, or papers in his hands.
Gotcha.
And then also, what's that hat on Tony at the end of this minute? It's so fancy.
He found a better hat. It's just some random hat lying around camp. No one wanted it anymore, I guess.
Yeah, and then let me be reminded of what he says at the end. We cut, and with a nice music cue, this will be my workstation. It needs to be well lit. He needs welding gear. He doesn't care. And let me just scroll back. Let me see if Jensen had a vest on. No, he had a jacket. again, and maybe a tie at the beginning of this minute. Like his shirt is buttoned up. What? These people are mad. He has a tie again. Why does Jensen have a tie?
Dude, I mean, I don't know why people wear that. Like in the Middle East, they wear large gowns in the Middle East too. Like,
I mean, yeah,
and turbans because it just stops the sun. I mean, they're underground right here, you know.
Yeah,
It's dark.
I want to. I genuinely want to know, like, in his character, what went into informing his character, saying he has been a kidnap victim for so long, and yet he still takes the time to tie a tie.
Mm-hmm.
And he pulls it up all the way.
Mm-hmm.
Like, he's dressing like Sam Raimi on the set of a movie. Like, Sam Raimi comes to work in a tuxedo or a suit to give respect to everyone he's working with, no matter the conditions. This
I feel like he was kidnapped in those clothes, and he's like, "All right, I'm might die pretty soon. I'm just gonna wear these for the last ride."
All right, I would have thrown that tie away months ago. I would have been like, "That's so fucking hot in here. I can't wear this tie. I'm not retying this tie. I'm never putting this tie back on."
I mean, every character in all the frames has long sleeves on. You know what I mean?
Yeah. It's just the last place I would have expected a kidnap victim to be wearing a tie.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. But that's what I've got for this minute. Richard?
Yeah, I think I'm good.
All right. That was minute 23.
I'm Richard.
I'm Brian.
You've got an army.
We've got a podcast.